So I'm Charles Brandon with Charles Brandon Productions. I am here today with Mark Robinson. We actually got done finishing a few music videos for you here recently for your new two-side single. And today is delivery day. So we are showing Mark the videos, and we're going to talk about the videos and the process that we went through, and then we're going to get a little background on Mark. So Mark, introduce yourself.
All right. Well, I'm Mark Robinson, and it's good to be here with Charles. I've been in Nashville for about 12 years now, and I moved here to play music. I heard, that they needed more guitar players, and so I moved here as a guitar player when I was close to 50 years old, and then after I got here, I decided it would be a good idea to write songs and sing them, because Nashville needs more singer-songwriters.
Of course.
And then I decided that I would follow my muse and be a blues artist, and so you can't think of any less commercial path that one could follow than to be a guitar player in Nashville, than to be a singer-songwriter, and then be a blues guy. So consequently, my first CD I put out in 2010 is Quit Your Job, Play Guitar. Mm-hmm. It's a true story. We don't know how it ends yet. But that led me to working with a lot of great people in Nashville, songwriters, producers, players, playing some gigs. And then in 2015, I put out my next CD, which is Have Axe Will Groove, which has done really well in the blues market. And so once I was on a roll and everybody in the blues world had heard of me, I decided to do something that wasn't blues at all. So the single, and Charles has been working with me on the single in the recording studio and on some of the videos, so he knows all this, is a two-sided single, and one side is an Acoustic Roots recording, and the other side is kind of a hard rock, kind of almost like a late 60s hard rock version of it. And so those are coming out now.
And so people are only going to be able to get this digitally, right?
That's right.
You
that's
have the
right.
CDs, but that's for
promotional purposes only.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a digital product that'll come out, and it'll be on CD Baby, it'll be on iTunes, it'll be on Amazon, it'll be on all the digital formats, and we're going to see how it does. And as you said, we've got videos for both versions of the single that we're going to put out and put on YouTube and see where that goes, see how it works. And maybe I'll talk a little bit about the two versions.
Yeah.
I wrote this song probably a little over a year ago, and I kind of originally conceived of it as a rock and roll song. And then while I was playing around with it, I thought of a couple of different ways I could play it, and one was really different. The version I ended up recording as the acoustic version was kind of in my head beforehand, but I really liked the rock version, so we went ahead and did that. And then I thought, well, maybe I should record the other one too. And I was didn't know which one I wanted to put out. And then my wife, Sue Havler, said, well, just put them both out. I thought, well, why not? Let's put them both out. And so I have a little contest running to see people on my newsletter which one they like better.
And how's that going?
Right now, the acoustic is ahead a little bit. So
Acoustic's ahead in Nashville. Who'd have thought?
Yeah, who would have thought? So it's hard to fathom that the acoustic is actually ahead, but it is just a little bit ahead. So that's cool. And I was able to bring some really great people in. Mm-hmm. In Nashville. If you work here long enough, you know a lot of the great people here. I was able to bring really talented folks that I work with. I mean, first of all, my rhythm section that played on both versions, Dan Seymour on bass and Justin Amaral on drums. And those guys, they play with everybody. They play with David Alney and Tommy Womack and just all sorts of folks as a rhythm section. Justin plays with Half Brass, the New Orleans brass band, and Dan plays with Irene Kelly. So they played with a whole lot of different people in different genres. And the three of us have worked together with a lot of people as well as a rhythm section, and as well as in my band. So they're equally adept at playing the acoustic stuff and the electric stuff and playing with whoever. So having those guys, I knew I could just do both versions with them, and what it took 2 hours tops to do
Yeah.
each session
they
with
nailed
all
it.
the overdubs. And then I went and worked with Michael Webb, who plays the Hammond B3 organ on the rock version. And Michael has played with, he's a member of Poco. He was a band leader for Bobby Keys, the sax player that who's no longer with us, but he was the Rolling Stones sax player. So he was the band leader for Bobby. He played with John Fogerty on tour for a couple of years. So Michael's played with everybody. He was in the band. Oh God, I don't want to go too far on that. Don't want to be wrong, but Michael's played with everybody. And then the other guy that I got on the rock version, he's an excellent drummer, but he just sings backup on this. Is Rick Shell, and Rick Shell. I know Rick was drummer and singer for Pure Prairie League for years, and I know that he was in the band Pin Monkey, which had kind of a brief country career in the early 2000s that did really well here. Those guys are great. And so Rick is really kind of a rock and roll singer and drummer who's also got some background in country. So those two guys really brought some special stuff. And Rick also is he's our stunt drummer in the video as well. So
That's correct, he is.
He was kind enough to come and pretend to be our drummer in the video. On the acoustic version, I have Luke Amelang is singing backup, and Luke is a kind of an up-and-coming country guy who put out, I believe it's his first album, came out last year, and Justin and Dan and I played with him a little bit, and it was good to have Luke come over and work with us. And then Richard Bailey played banjo on that, and Richard is he's kind of a legendary banjo player. He's played with everybody, but currently he's playing with the Steel Drivers, and I think he's probably he's my favorite banjo player. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
And the fact that I live in Nashville and I could call Richard and say, "Hey, will you come play banjo on my record?" And he says, "Yeah, I'll be over." That's just.
And he comes in and nails it. I mean, he came in here and just laid it down.
I've never seen Richard take more than a couple of takes to get anything, and his playing on it's beautiful, and it really brings something special to that acoustic track. So
It really does.
felt pretty consistent.